I'm very passionate about this. I was asked recently why, if I hate what's going on in this country so much, do I stay? Well, I stay because I love my country. I stay because this is my home and I love what America stands for. This is my country. This is your country. What I don't love is the corruption that threatens to destroy our country and all that it stands for. What I don't love is that corrupt, uber-wealthy bankers can tell our Congress and president what to do. What I don't love is the fact that money has motivated politicians to turn their backs on this great nation for their own personal gain. What I don't love is that major corporations that were built on the backs of everyday Americans have turned their backs on us and claim that they built their companies on their own. On their own? The fact that they can give their top executives millions of dollars in bonuses while cutting back their employees' hours and wages, not to mention sending many of these jobs overseas, and they refuse to insure them as well, is ludicrous. These other countries didn't build America. We did. Our ancestors did. We worked hard to help build these mega corporations, and we got paid well for it. Now these same multimillionaires and billionaires have decided they want even more wealth, so they send the work overseas because they can save money by paying lower wages where the cost of living is lower. They will say that it is our own fault because we are too lazy and think we are entitled to higher wages. Our cost of living is much higher, and we need to earn more than in many countries just so that we can buy the goods from the companies we help build. It worked this way in the past. Why not now? I'll tell you why. It's because of the greed. It's coming from the top 1% who are pointing their fingers at the 99% that help build their damn corporations, and they're calling us too lazy to work for what they call a decent wage. Chief executives at some of the nation's largest companies earned an average of $12.9 million last year, 380 times more than a typical American worker. Average CEO pay rose 14% compared to 2010 when they earned $11.4 million on the average. And that's the average. Did you know at Apple, it takes 6,258 typical Apple worker salaries to match their CEO's total pay, considering he earns over $350 million a year? And most of their manufacturing is overseas, which adds to the problem of so many people being out of work. When Apple had its humble beginnings, we here in America helped build the company. I guess their CEO needs $350 million yearly because of the cost of living. Give me a break. These major CEOs have turned their backs on the very people who helped them get where they are today. We have been betrayed. We are betrayed every day by our corporate bought politicians. We are manipulated every day by the corporate-owned news media. Our focus is kept on gun control and gay marriage, while there is no mention of a bill that allows Monsanto to poison our food and not be held liable for it. What is that about? Hell, they don't even have to label it. They are fighting labeling because they say that we will not buy it if it's labeled. This is the same company that brought us saccharin, aspartame, if I said it right, DDT, Agent Orange, and so many other products that have been poisoning us for decades. And we might not buy food by them? Of course we won't. Yet the government has determined that there will be no labeling of genetically altered cancer-causing foods because we won't buy it. And Monsanto will have no such thing. They're also not held liable if it is proven their foods are poisonous. They, like the banks, are now above the law.
They control the FDA, that they control the Supreme Court, that their lobbyists pick and choose our elected officials. They're poisoning us, they're poisoning our kids, the next generations, the planet, the water.
They, like the banks, are now above the law. While we are focusing on gun control and gay marriage, the banks are ripping the American people off blindly because of deregulation of the financial industry. We have been hit with the NDAA and financial non-disclosure bills as well. The government is protecting themselves, major corporations, and banks from the American people. Who is protecting the American people? We help build the banks, the corporations, and even put the people in power that are ruling, not representing us today. Our nation has become what our forefathers fought so hard to get away from. Our tax dollars are continually used against us, and the government keeps borrowing from Social Security for pet projects with no intention of putting the money back in. I don't know about you, but I call this stealing. Then they go on to say that this is an entitlement. Our money is an entitlement? Yeah, for them, it's time we take our country back. We, the people, need to stand together. We need to make our voices heard. Call your congressmen and your senators. Tell them how you feel. Tell them that if they don't represent you and the rest of the people in your district, that you will vote them out of office. Tell them. Tell them that you are getting the word out. Power to the people. Enough said. Thank you for listening.